All right. Happy Friday, everybody. September 27th, This Week in Crypto. I'm your host, Brian. We may have Maxim join in a bit. For now, I am flying solo to tell you about this very positive week in crypto and what we are kind of seeing right now in terms of the data and the analytics, not just showing what's going on at this very moment, but what these types of patterns will kind of imply for the upcoming week or 2 weeks, maybe even a month or so, as we get into some midterm analysis here. So, obviously, as we turn the calendar to Q4, things are looking quite strong and fun in crypto again. It was kind of a boring, if not depressing, summer for many crypto traders out there, at least the 98-ish% of people that are longing crypto most of the time instead of shorting. Uh, but we've seen a pretty big change since the bottom right around September 5th. The past 3 weeks have been basically a game of tag between different altcoin sectors that are surging at any given time. Right now, we're kind of seeing the meme coins really start to dominate. And for those who have followed our content for a long time, meme coins dominating is not the best recipe for continued success. So I know it sounds contradictory because many people are celebrating and happy with the profits, but most of you who are watching don't just want us to recap what has happened over the past week. You'd like us to look ahead to see if markets are getting a little bit overheated or underheated or are continuing along the same path, right? And at the moment, it may look good, and you're starting to see a lot of people on social media really celebrating their magnificent altcoin calls. But the reality is, everyone looks like a genius trader if they've been jumping into altcoins, no matter what the altcoin is, for the most part, outside of maybe Monero here. You can see every single one of the top 100 are up money over the past week. But it isn't that hard to make money when you have these kinds of huge altcoin gains all over the place. That being said, it's going to probably change sometime soon, especially with people so positive at the moment. And you have to be prepared for that. It may not be in the next few days or even the next few weeks, but there will be a point where we see a bit of a mini correction. And we will try to navigate that on this call to see how close we are to it. Uh, to recap some of the returns before I go into future predictions a little bit with you, and of course, this is not investment advice. Let's just briefly go through some of the highlights here. You can see Dogecoin up 18% in the past week, Shiba Inu, which has really taken off over the past 24 hours. We put a post out about it yesterday. It's up 44.5%. Pepe here, you can see the top three are all the largest meme coins here. Pepe up 30%. Near, part of the AI sector, up 25. BitTensor 30. Dog with Hat, another meme coin, up 30%. So, and here's Bonk over here at plus 26%. There are lots and lots of gainers, especially when it comes to the more speculative assets out there. And I'm going to transition to this page to show you how the meme coins and AI have really started to dominate in terms of trading volume. This is a comparison of the top 6 projects in each of the 4 sectors between meme coins, AI and big data, layer 1s, and layer 2s. So we just went over how meme coins are surging right now, and you know what happens to traders and their let's call it FOMO fingers when you start to see these kinds of returns. Their trading volume goes zooming toward that sector. And that's exactly what we've seen here with meme coins seeing their biggest volume since the crash in early August, when everything spiked in trading volume as people were either panic selling or dip buying. There were a lot more of the former than there were the latter. But here we are now. You can see layer 1s and layer 2s are still fairly middle of the road in terms of their trading volume, but meme coins have just absolutely ascended with 5.79 billion in this latest 4-hour window just between the top 6 market caps in meme coins. And AI even got a little higher. They had a big surge midweek. I guess I should say the beginning of the week, Sunday, Monday is where they were really taking off. And you can see what happens to the volume. And yes, as you would suspect, when you see isolated spikes like this, it very often means a top for that given sector, assuming that the volume is happening while markets are rising. Sometimes you'll see a market rise like this while markets are crashing. It happened in early July and early August, and even a little bit, not even so much this time in early September. But regardless, I would be a little bit concerned. This is one of my biggest, I guess, panic signals for tops being in the near future. Again, it doesn't mean it's going to happen today or next week, but this typically is a warning sign for markets when you start to see the more speculative assets just going nuts with volume, while Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest are staying very low. That said, I believe our founder, Maxim, has joined. Brother
yes,
Balance,
yes.
How are you, my friend?
Good, good, good. How are you doing? Yeah, it looks like you started very nicely. I wanted to ask when I saw it, do you mean that on this chart we have combined
Exactly.
social volume?
Yeah. So if I open up this custom formula, for example, I put a Doge, Shiba Inu, Pepe, WIF, Bonk, and Floki all together so we can see how the trading volume looks versus top 6 in AI, top 6 in layer
volume
ones.
or social volume?
This is just regular trading volume, but I also have social volume if you'd prefer to see that.
No, just curious. Could be, could be interesting too. Okay.
Yeah, let's look at this one first because I'm curious on your thoughts just about general trading volume. I presume we're on the same page here, but when you see these kinds of speculative sectors like AI and meme coins just ascend like this while layer 1s and 2s are way down here, I would presume that we're in that part of the cycle that we start to get a bit worried.
Not worry, just let the market play its game. I usually start getting worried when I see divergences, when the price keep pushing and the volumes are not increasing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's actually it was the first framework we developed for spotting the tops. It's divergence across trading volume, daily active addresses, and social volumes. If we see 3 of them, it's really like it's too late to worry, you need to run. Typically, you will see 2 of them diverging, either new addresses or trading volume or active addresses. They will start diverging. Right now, just thrust of exploding market. It's okay. I mean, it's what we've been looking for a long time. And I mean, not that I entered at the bottom, I did not. I mean, the whole people in crypto have been waiting for this moment. Now it is here. Cool. But once we start seeing divergence, yes, we should start getting more. And usually 2 days. I mean, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, let it play over the weekend. On one of the chart, I think Ethereum and to lesser degree or to similar degree Solana, they're building interesting, relatively clear pattern, but we need to wait what will happen today. If this pattern will get confirmed. Yeah. Anyway,
Gotcha.
Continue with your term. I would not use the word worry yet. Yeah.
Got it. That's good to know. I mean, I like when we're on slightly different pages because I'm a little more on the ultra concern end at the moment. Again, I don't think that means we're going to literally top today, but the signals that I'm seeing are pointing to a top coming soon, unless there's a big change to trader behavior soon. And this is another example. So this is the social dominance template that I told you about. So I made one for regular volume and one for social dominance. And meme coins are just off the charts at the moment.
So the blue of this highest one is meme coins.
Exactly. So it's just absolutely ballooned in the last 24 hours.
I don't see the number. What is dominant?
So this is
above 10?
combined social dominance between the top 6 meme coins, and it has 5.66% of all discussions.
If we're about 10, then it's really worrisome. But I agree, it's grows exponentially compared to others, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how today plays out. Obviously, Shiba Inu has been the big story in the past 24 hours, but Bonk, Dogecoin, WIF, they're all up there right by it as just the biggest gainers in crypto right now.
Okay. Yeah. Typically, yes. Typically, the meme coins gainers, it's more often than not, they foreshadow the tops. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, another thing that we should be aware of is the fact that the S&P just continues to make an all-time high as well. It's up a little bit more today. Gold is also off, just seeing new all-time highs, even though it's a little bit down from I guess technically yesterday. It could very well surpass it by the end of the day. And Bitcoin here is sneaking up on, if I go back to March, it's sneaking up very close to its all-time high of 73.8, I want to say, depending on the exchange. So it's getting close as well, but obviously not quite at the all-time high levels as the other two sectors. We've been saying pretty consistently that there's a tight correlation that's been going on since 2022 between equities and crypto. I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. I know the meme is that, crypto kind of is viewed as a high leverage tech stock these days. And, technically that's not the case because there's no owner and then there's no debt to equity ratio and all of these traditional stock metrics that you might be used to. But I will say the fluctuations of it do seem to continue to follow in the S&P's footsteps quite closely. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it means that crypto is very reliant on the real world right now and the overall world economies, which are doing quite well, especially after the rate cuts, which some people think Jerome Powell was a bit pressured into. Regardless, he did make those rate cuts, dropped interest rates by 50 BPS, and
I think it was planned a long time ago.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the consensus as well. But regardless, here we are, and I would still pay very close attention to any, Trump versus Harris news going on, which I just briefly want to go over here. You can see Harris. Let me zoom in just to the last month. So Harris in blue, Trump in red, and both have been relatively dormant. You can see a bit of a flip. So Trump was being talked about a lot between the 15th and 21st, and actually Harris has been more dominant in discussions over the past week. Perceive that how you will. From what we have seen, the crypto community seems to more bullishly resonate with Trump, but I would anticipate the next big time this is going to be very relevant is when the debates happen like they did 10 days ago here. And look at the trending words here, Maxim. Number one on the list, 65K. So clearly people are in celebration mode over Bitcoin returning to this psychological support level here. So if I open up 65K, in fact, I'll just use one of my pre-made templates here. We have, let's see if I can get them all together. I know I have one that compares. It's okay, I'll do it manually. So if I just go 70, 60, we're going to see a big boost in the 60Ks here. Not sure why this has an error, that's okay. And then 50. So as some of you may suspect, this is a very good greed and fear tool where you can see how much people are mentioning various round number support levels. If I go to shared access here, you can see it's been, let's go just the last month to make it a little clearer. So big boost in 70K mentions as of the hour, actually. So that's not good. That means there's a lot of people anticipating that 70 to 75 is around the corner. This big breakout of 60 to 65K was mainly due to the celebration of Bitcoin reaching 65 for the first time in about a month. And 50K, yeah, very low on the 50 to 55K end. So you can see the increase, especially right at the very edge of my screen, for the 70 to 75K level mentions. We're seeing the highest amount of mentions in a month, meaning people are itching to see these numbers once again. Usually, if you're seeing a lot of mentions of these numbers, despite those numbers not quite being that close yet, I shouldn't say that close, but you know, it's not like we're at 69.4K right now. We're still in the 66Ks. And already people are starting to heat up mentions of 70 to 75. That's a sign of greed. That's a sign of FOMO and people not wanting to miss out on the further gains that they anticipate are right around the corner. Just remember, folks, the direction of crypto always moves the opposite of what the crowd suspects. So if the crowd is suspecting gains, be a little more cautious. Profit taking is certainly justified when you start to see greed signs like that. All right, so that's another thing I've been keeping an eye on. In terms of whale behavior, it's still looking solid. So as you guys know, this is one of my top metrics, and the 10 plus BTC wallets are sitting at about 16.19 million BTC held. Over the past 6 months, they have accumulated 63,375 BTC. Meanwhile, stablecoins are moving down. So you can see that clearly they've been swapping out these dollar-backed coins for more Bitcoin. Not abnormal, but ideally we'd want to see more money coming in from fiat and actual, you know, bank accounts from around the world. I'm sure that's happening, but it would be ideal if that was happening as a substitute for being swapped for stables. Supply and exchanges is certainly moving down right now. Bitcoin is currently at about 9.4% on exchanges, while stablecoins are quite high. So that's a sign that the buying power is still fairly immaculate on exchanges right now. Let's go to my weighted sentiment template for a moment. That one should do it. Okay. So if we go to the last 3 months and we look at some of the top caps, check out Bitcoin here, Maxim. It's looking like we're at our highest amount of bullishness since that second week of August after the big rebound from that dip that happened. So people are starting to get, I wouldn't call, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much right at that euphoric level where it's about 1.36 above standard deviation right now for weighted sentiment. That tells me there's quite a bit of concern due to so many people getting excited. Look at the previous 2 times that we saw Bitcoin get that high. I've isolated BTC for a moment. Here it is in late July, and here it is in the second week of August. What happened during both of those weeks? We saw market tops. I'm not going to say that the weighted sentiment was the primary reason that we retraced. There were a lot of economic reasons, but then it happened again here, and we see a top until the market settles down again. And now we're back up here. You know, I think that this is a sign that we might be getting a little bit too confident in prices continuing to rise. Doesn't mean it's about to shift course once again, but it means we're getting quite close to the danger zone.
Yep.
We look at Ethereum, same thing, not the same thing, I should say. This is more on the flat side where the sentiment is kind of just fluctuating between negativity and slight positivity where it is now. Sorry, Maxim, you were going to say something, I think, about Bitcoin.
No. Just for Ethereum, it's not positive at all.
Yeah, which makes sense because Ethereum really hasn't had any special breakouts from the markets in quite some time. It's been mostly almost like a Bitcoin type of fluctuation, but not performing quite as well as Bitcoin. Binance Coin, nothing special. XRP is interesting because it's actually showing negativity right now. I'm curious as to why. Switch to XRP's price for a moment. Yeah, I mean, it's not performing quite as well as most markets if we compare it to Bitcoin's price. Okay, so this makes sense. If we look at XRP versus BTC, look at how it's kind of fizzled out over the last 11 days. Its ratio versus Bitcoin has dropped about 10.5%. So the negativity seems to be warranted from traders who are understandably frustrated watching these AI coins and meme coins going nuts, and they're kind of poking their half-dead XRP coin on a stick saying, why can't you move? What's going on here? So obviously the XRP community is very loud and vocal, and when they're seeing underperformance, they get frustrated, and that shows up in our data. Besides that, we look at Cardano while we're here. Yeah, it's fairly positive on the Cardano end right now. So really, for most coins, especially Bitcoin, I'd be a little bit concerned by the euphoria that's starting to pop up right now. Anything else you want to say on the sentiment end, Maxim?
No. As I mean, the main message that it's a lot of activity in meme coins, and historically it was close to stop. Sometimes it has a span of 2, 3, maximum 5 days. As we saw yesterday also on Ethereum fees, most of the fees beyond wrapped Ethereum are paid for meme coins.
Yeah, I put an article out about that after we discussed that yesterday. Let me take a look.
The signs are there. You just don't know the timing, and after so many years in the market, timing is the most difficult part. You just give it some time before euphoria and excitement for meme coins will do its business. So it grew even more. Okay.
Yeah, this was as of yesterday. This is part of the article, the headline screenshot in the article. So the average fee was at about $3.23, which is up, right? It's back up to, outside of this anomaly, it's back up to late May levels. And as Maxim said, we've got all of these contracts outside of the top 4 usual suspects, Wrapped ETH, Ethereum, Tether, and USD Coin. These next 4 are kind of random. We've got, in order, Hana, and then we have Virtual USD, Incept, and Doggo as the next 4 contracts that are contributors to these rising Ethereum fees. So when you start to see a lot of this, yes, it means that meme coins are starting to gain a lot of traction here. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 of them end up, crossing over Tether and USD Coin, and that would be very interesting to me. But yeah, there seems to be a rise in meme coin usage that's contributing to Ethereum fee rises right now. And let's take a look at trending coins. I didn't check ahead of time, but look at this. We've got Hamster that's leading the way right now. It obviously had a recent launch, and it's seeing a lot of crypto exchange activity, experience significant price fluctuations with mixed community reactions, ongoing promotional campaigns, highlighting its airdrop, trading on exchanges, and its association with a popular blockchain-based game, further fueling the trend. So shout out to the hamster marketing team that has really gotten their coin out to the world in droves. I do think the sentiment toward it is quite mixed at the moment. Curious. I haven't looked at. Yeah, we do have Hamster Combat as a coin. So if I clear all this out, I'm just going to see some of the main metrics really quick, especially sentiment. We'll go last week.
I think you only need to, resolution. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's, did we just add it?
Yeah, I think it started yesterday.
Okay, so we probably don't have enough info. We can at least look at the social volume, which, by the way, I pulled this up while Maxim was talking. This is just the overall mentions of the words Memecoin, Memecoins, or meme and coins with a space in between. And as expected, right now, just in the last few hours, my morning, Maxim's afternoon, this is showing a huge spike in Memecoin social volume. Last time we had it this high was almost exactly a month ago, and we topped right after that. So keep that in mind. So looking at Hamster as promised, and Hamster or HMSTR, right? That's the ticker. Yes. All right, so it had its huge social volume spike yesterday. That's probably why it's still showing up as a top trending coin, because we have a 24-hour cycle on those. It's calmed down a little bit. Let me see if I can switch to 50-50. This will work. Yeah, it did work. All right, so yeah, this is the last 3 months. Let's just go to the last week, really zoom in to see how well. Okay, yeah, check this out. So price is top here. Everyone wants to be clever and tries to buy the dip for Hamster right here. And because the market unanimously decided this was the dip just continued instead. Now, a perfect example of prices moving the opposite direction of crowd expectations here. All right, other tokens that are in the top 10 right now. We've got Toncoin, we've got Shiba Inu, Bitcoin at number 4, obviously due to its crossing of 65K. Expect the conversation toward BTC to just continue ascending as long as the price does. If it starts to peter out and shuffle in this 64 to 67K range, you'll start to see a lot more focus on meme coins and AI and all this other stuff once again. So we talked about Shiba. Obviously, it's there for a reason. I'm interested in Toncoin. We've talked a little bit in previous calls about Toncoin potentially needing to reach something like $4, Maxim. Not to put you on the spot, but are you still sort of maintaining that position on Ton?
I'm adopting it. Yeah, I'm adopting.
Say it again. You're adopting?
I doubt. Yeah.
Oh, doubt. Sorry.
Yeah. I wish, or let's say, I don't exclude we still can experience it. One may. Okay, let's put it from different angle. The whole advance from around $1 to 8, it looks like complete move, like classic 5 waves. Yeah. And what we had thereafter, it could be considered as a completed correction. So I still do hope we'll have one more leg down. So I get my good entry. Otherwise, I will have to accept that that was the bottom, 4.5. It was close enough to 4, but sometimes sometimes you stick to your guns too much when you don't have to. And I'm just a human. I was stick to 4, didn't get there. So I might need to change. I will see. If I see some negative sentiment or something happens, and I don't know, on blockchain. I read some messages today that the technologically not just in the beginning of the journey, far away from Ethereum or even far away from Solana. So if we have some correction down and this worrying or worried voices will become very obvious, okay, then I will consider whatever the price I will get in. Otherwise, yeah, still looking for $4 is good.
Yeah. I was going to say, Maxim, the conversation surrounding ton that we've had over the last couple of months is very similar to what we were talking about way back in September and October of 2021 when Solana was becoming a top 10, top 15 market cap asset. And I actually had a quick private chat with you about Solana's performance and how it was like crossing $200 and it didn't make sense. And you said, trust me, there will be a time where it'll fall below $40 again. And at the time, that seemed so inconceivable. And sometimes it just takes a full market-wide correction for those types of predictions to come true. So yes, Toncoin is back up at $6 right now, and we were still kind of expecting some further downside. But I think our hypothesis would be it's just kind of being kept afloat by the overall market performance right now of all of crypto.
Okay. I mean, the expectations, or let's say the community of Memecoin builders, it's a good narrative. The whole Solana mostly is built around Memecoins. Of course, they have also lending, borrowing, indexes, and actually quite good community of developers. But its use case or niche is around Memecoins. So if Toncoin is able to steal it or to partially claim for them, oh, sky is the limit. So I'm considering, technically looking at the price action, there is a chance the correction is over. So if this is the case, okay, then we should see it more clearly the moment we have first correction of this move we have last few weeks. It should become visible. Maybe some very bad news. We'll visit it next week. Ask me next week again the question, my opinion on Ton. I think, Brian, your voice somehow disappeared. I don't know why.
My mistake. That was my manual muting, so I could cough while you were talking. Yeah, I was just saying that the MVRVs for Toncoin are quite high still. I see that 30-day MVRV is plus 30%, 365 days still plus 91, 92%. So that tells me there's still quite a bit of risk in jumping into the now 9th ranked market cap asset. I definitely did. A year ago, I did not have a coin like Ton in my top 10 market caps, but here we are. Crypto always is here to surprise. Also, just note on Toncoin, tons of profit taking. I did not see this ahead of time, but looking now, as of the past 24 hours, there are 8.8 transactions from addresses that are in profit on their ton versus transactions compared to one transaction that is at a loss. So that's an 8.8 to 1 profit to loss ratio. Typically, those high spikes are synonymous with upcoming tops. The last time we saw bunches of profit to loss ratios up high, perfect top signal in mid-April. So take that for what you will. Obviously, it depends on how markets shape up over the next week or two, but I'm maintaining my hypothesis that we are starting to get into a danger zone now. And that would mean assets like Ton that are seeing big spikes like this are at risk. All right. A few other Bitcoin metrics I want to look at, especially on the mean dollar invested age side, funding rate, stuff like that. And then we'll even take a look at the activity matrix, where I've made some exciting changes, Maxim. I'll show them to you in a moment.
Okay. Looking forward.
All right. Mean dollar invested age is actually kind of flattening out at the moment. This is a good sign to me. We were kind of in this upward trend where the average age of coins sitting in exchanges was just continuing to climb up and up and up, which is not what you want to see. You want to start seeing a little bit of choppiness like this and potentially even a down move, which would indicate that stagnant coins are moving back into circulation for the crowd to move around and increase network activity with. And we've kind of started to flatten out here over the past week, which is a good sign. I would argue that this is somewhat related to profit taking and uh, FOMO due to this big ascension that we've seen over the past 3-ish weeks or so. Do you have any thoughts about mean dollar invested age right now and how it looks?
It definitely looks better. Yeah. But
Yeah, I mean,
I would give it like the same 2 to 5 days, which now are very important to see if we will start seeing divergences to see the top. And the same for mean dollar invested age or profit taken, shown in age consumed or in network realized profit loss. They should become visible to support from behavior point of view uptrend. If we still will not see people taking profits or redistributing, okay, it will not be good. But let's wait 2 to 5 days. Let's get, now we get 65, maybe at least to Ethereum, it looks likely to get to 2,800, which means around 10% up, a bit less than 10%. So here maybe 67, 68. This is where it will become really interesting once we get to this level. So we've been, Bitcoin, we've been playing with these levels for so long time. So some people might get tired. Yeah, you see, it was long time support. Like we were trying to break down, then we break down. Now it's a kind of resistance. Yeah, higher, where you see higher. Yeah, exactly, somewhere, no, lower. So
right around 28, 29, yeah.
Which was constantly supported, and then it broke down. So this is the real resistance, and people, speculators, definitely professional, they will start taking profits before it. And then we'll see. It will not be possible, very unlikely we can break it through. It's a quite strong resistance because it was support for a very long time. Now, the question, will we see accumulation or redistribution around this level? If there is enough fear, people say, okay, now it's the last chance for us to sell at a good price, good sign, then we'll continue higher. And if we see again, as before, quite little age consumed, yeah. I already showing Ethereum, yeah, 2.80. Is it 2.8?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, 2.8 is a very, very important level.
Yeah, we're just shy of 2,700 now, so we could certainly see that in the next 24 hours even.
Yes, 2.8 probably will make it, just to clean up some shorts and people engage people who were waiting for breakup of the previous top at this around 2.8 to go long. And then we'll see some very choppy actions, up and down, and this is where we will measure behavior of token holders as they're realizing their profits, because 2.8, 2.9, 2.8 is a very good price for many Ethereum holders. So will we see them taking profits or not? On a bigger scale, like not just one or two. When you see reports that some old whale from, I don't know, 10 years ago moved, it doesn't matter much. You always need to look into aggregated level, or Ethereum Foundation sold something. It doesn't matter much. They sell all the time. But when you see on a chart where you have across all holders, what is the age? Yeah, there, and it tells us the story. It gives you the sign of total market sentiment.
This was one of the templates that I wanted to get to before the call ended. So Bitcoin is really flattened out at the moment. You can see it's since September 8th. It had 54.34 million holders then, and it's actually down 54 to 54.31. So a loss of about 32.3K addresses, while every other asset on this list has gone up. Ethereum is up, Tether's up, XRP, USD coin, Cardano just slightly, Dogecoin just slightly, and Chainlink. So they're all climbing while Bitcoin's holders are falling off. That's a sign that a lot of Bitcoin holders are transitioning over to the more risky speculative assets while watching the green candles across crypto continue. So they're salivating and kind of dreaming of bigger returns and so far being rewarded for that.
Yes.
But at some point, this pattern will break and the people transitioning into altcoins and redistributing their Bitcoin profits may get burned.
Yep.
So just something to look out for there. Funding rate really quickly, and then we're going to transition and I'll show the activity matrix. All right, so I just made this for a recent video that we'll be releasing soon. Evgeny at the moment is looking it over to see if it is good to go for posting. But for now, you can use this just by going to the drop down, clicking load, and typing in funding rate template. And you'll see it pop in right here. Here we break down each funding rate on major exchanges, in this case for Bitcoin, but you can transition to any altcoin you want, assuming it has funding rate data for these specified exchanges. So for Bitcoin, it's fairly flat. You can see it actually was in shorting range after the initial rise, and then the shorters kind of gave up, and we've transitioned into mostly kind of neutral. It doesn't look like, even though the sentiment is quite high, it doesn't look like the funding rates are getting overly euphoric and indicating a lot of people who want to long the markets at the moment. BitMEX, it's actually showing a bit of shorting right now.
Mhm.
So people who don't believe in this rally so much are coming out in droves, and that can actually give Bitcoin's price a bit of a boost if those shorts get liquidated. DYDX, fairly neutral at the moment. Deribit is actually starting to veer close to shorting range, but for now it's neutral. And then aggregated by exchanges altogether, yeah, it's pretty neutral at the moment. So I would just look out for where we go in the next 2 to 5 days. I think Maxim's estimated time range to really see changes is about right at the start of next week, Monday,
Maximum.
Tuesday. Yeah, at the most is when we'll start to see
Memecoins. So far, I think we've seen 5 days delay.
yeah.
But maybe we're indeed in a kind of weird meme coin cycle where things get skewed, so it may get to 1 week. But yeah, so far I haven't seen yet confirmation. 5-day maximum, probably like by Monday.
Agreed. Yeah.
If we don't see divergence, is good, but probably we'll see them.
Now here we have the activity matrix. Everything will look pretty much the same. I'll be releasing a 3.0 version soon, based on some updates to the leaderboard. It's gotten a little more wordy here, but trust me, all this info is really helpful. Now we have the leaderboards, but under it is the 1-day, 7-day, 30-day, and 90-day price changes. So when we see an asset, let me make it a little bigger so you don't have to squint at your screens. When we see an asset like Shiba Inu being the most active network over the past 90 days compared to its average. So all of these are compared to their average. It's not just Shiba Inu is more active than Bitcoin. That's not the case. But Shiba Inu is more active than it was 3 months ago compared to any other asset compared to the past 3 months. That's why it's at the top of the list. And you can see these percentages showing where it ranks in performance over the past 1-day, 7-day, 30-day, and for some reason 90-day is blank, but it would be very up toward the top in 90-day performance too. If you see low percentages, for example, Origin, these are all under 50%, showing it's been one of the biggest underperformers compared to the 115 or so assets that we have on this matrix. So long story short, when you see these assets on the overall average column here in column Y, don't just say, oh, Shiba Inu is the most active, it's the most likely to keep going up. It's actually the opposite. When Shiba Inu is the most active network, while the asset has been one of the best, if not the best performers in crypto, at least among these 115 or so assets, that's a sign of a top. That means that all of these categories like active addresses, network growth, whale transactions, they're all spiking and ballooning because people are FOMOing in and getting super hyped about it. You can see it's having its second best day of social dominance. It's having its best day of network growth. That's all great, but the reason the network is going nuts is because people are chasing those sky high prices. So I would much rather, and this is not investment advice, I'd much rather look at an asset that is underperforming and also seeing a huge spike in activity like Origin Protocol, which is way under average and not seeing nearly as much profit despite still seeing an extremely active network. So if I go to this spaceship looking view here, Origin should be right here. So it's highlighted in dark red, which means that it's super active right now. All of these squares are orange and red. So each of these active address, network growth, whale transaction categories, they're all very hot. But the price, it's only up 1% in the past day, 8% in the past week, looks like 6% in the past 30 days, and it's actually down in the past 90 days. Compare that to Shiba, which is here, and it's the darkest red for a reason because it's the most active out of any of these.
Red is the price of what?
Yeah, so the label is going to vary between blue all the way to red, depending on how cold or under average the network activity is versus very hot or over average the network activity is. And it's based on the latest day. So you can see Shiba right here. Let me zoom in just a little more so it isn't so small. So Shiba is dark red because the very latest day of data is showing extremely hot network activity. So the red square means it's extremely hot active addresses, extremely hot network growth, whale transactions, social dominance, coins moving off exchanges, mean dollar invested age is hot, and age consumed is hot. So you average all those colors together, and it's going to give you a very red label indicating that it's hot. And that's why it's showing up as the top hot network among all of these assets right now. So you compare that to the prices here. So from left to right, this is the 1-day change, 7-day change, 30-day change, and 90-day change for prices. Mm-hmm. So the reason the price labels are green isn't just because they're up. The colors are actually relative to all of the other price performances on this chart. So if it's green, that means they're outperforming the market under each of these time intervals.
Oh, okay.
You following me so far?
Yeah. It's just it's rather small. The picture's difficult to see.
I know. I'm trying to find a proper resolution here. Is that looking a little better?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, bigger now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, Shiba Inu in a nutshell, super red label indicating a hot network with super green prices because they've been outperforming pretty much everything else on this activity matrix over the past 1 day, 7 day, 30 days. And then it's more on the neutral end for the last 90 days because there are plenty of assets that have actually done better than plus 26% in the past 90 days. Mm-hmm. So obviously Shiba Inu is very hot, but if we compare it one more time to Origin, which is almost as red, it's a little more on the orange side, but still indicating that the matrix sees it as very hot. It's underperformed compared to the rest of the markets, only up 1% in the past 1 day. 7 days is plus 6%, 30 days is plus 6%, and 90 days it's actually minus 1%. So I would prefer to enter into an asset like this that is getting a ton of network activity, but not because of FOMO, like we see here with Shiba. You following me?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just open on another screen on myself to see Shiba data. Interesting. Well, there is also the high from July. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I think maybe we can close with a quick look at a few of Shiba's metrics, which are just ballooning all over the place because that's what the activity matrix is showing us. And obviously, it's one of the best performers. So trading volume going nuts. It's at its highest level since late May. Circulation is at its highest level since mid-July. I don't know if this MVRV is accurate right now. I don't think it is. Something might have gotten wonky here. So I'm going to skip that. Whale transactions. Yeah, we had a spike yesterday. It was its highest level since July 17th. And here's where I think it's really important. If we look at the supply distribution, beginning with just like...
you need to select big groups, very big one.
Yeah, in fact, I think even 1 million is too small because the price is 0.000021. So I'm just going to go straight to 100 million or more wallets. And they've actually started to take up just slightly. I mean, over time, it's fallen massively.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would expect, if we look at like the micro wallets, we'll just go like 100 or below. It's going up at about the same rate as it always does. Well, why don't we look at it a different way? And we'll do it by balance of address. Percentage-wise, if we go to just 100 or less, and it defaults to black, of course. There we go. So they're moving up a little. Let's keep going. 100 to 1,000, nothing special. Yeah, they're all kind of, maybe it's just too tough to tell from this view. 1 million to 10 million is going notably down. 100 million to 1 billion is actually going up. I don't know. These are all over the place. I was hoping to see more of a clear pattern, but you can see the long-term pattern is pretty clear. These small Shiba Inu wallets are continuing to climb. That tells me long-term, you know, this asset may not be the best out there because you'd ideally want to see the exact reverse of these large shark and whale wallets moving up and up, getting more and more of the supply while the amateurs are dropping out. That's not the case right now. Tons of profit taking, as you would expect. Transactions going on over the past week are very, very high profit versus loss ratios. Very small divot in mean dollar invested age, but I'm not too excited about this. We do see a realized profit spike, mild one, but it's there. Supply and exchanges are moving down. That's a nice sign. And then look at social dominance here, Maxim. Biggest spike we've seen since the exact top on May 28th.
Surprise, yeah.
Yeah. So if history matters to you guys, which it should, that's how we base most of our analysis, by looking at the past and comparing it to similar patterns we're seeing in the present. We see that the discussion rate toward the second largest meme coin in crypto is at its highest level since the exact day that it topped back on May 28th. Will history repeat itself? We don't have any way of knowing, but we can say that there's a much higher probability of a top coming now versus a week ago when no one was talking about Shiba Inu. So keep that in mind. All right, my voice is getting raspy. I can feel it. Balresh, do you see any pertinent questions to the markets that maybe we can recap for the final 2 to 4 minutes or so? Negative, no questions.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We spent some time on Shiba, which is, in a sense, a proxy to Memecoins. It's a good people takeaway. By the way, I just was checking Can you go to supply distribution to Shiba? There is one group. I think it can reveal some truths. So you disable everything. Show the price of Shiba. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then there was one group. I think was it 1 to 10 million? Can you open it, or 10 to 100 millions by percent?
10
No. Millions. So
10 million
1 to 10 million.
above?
No, just one group, 1 to 10 million.
Got it.
Okay, does it show it? No, 1 to 10
million. There we go.
Yeah, increase now. I think yes, and increase the timeline. It shows too little. Just yes. Okay, so you see, this is the group which tends to they sold into the exploding price, and then they start buying thereafter into the crashing price. Probably, if we observe them, they start selling or keep selling now. If we see the similar pattern, they sell into the exploding price, and the moment they get convinced, okay, actually we're going up, that could be very good top signal. So this group, it's not very big group. I think how much is they have 0.2, 0.1 of supply, but they seem to be quite active.
Yeah, it does appear to be the smart money tier. And you're right, they bought into that initial dip and then they kind of gave up and trailed off ever since.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So generally, it's always possible, or almost always possible, to spot a group, which once you understand, it represents some specific sizable group of people, and this group of people will have shared behavior, and you can make some decision based on it. Yeah, it not necessarily need to call smart money or stupid money. No, it's just a group of people which keeps behaving in a similar way. And I think for Shiba, it's 1 million to 10 million of coins. As long
Great
as
to know.
In a similar price range as we stay now. Yeah. Okay.
Well, are there any other thoughts you may have about the markets or final takes you may want to mention before we conclude?
No. Look for divergences. When they start emerging, then we can start getting worried. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I've got a sound effect board here now. So even though we can't hear the audience, I'm sure that they're doing this right now. And I want to thank Baresh, as always, for running the stream. Thank you, Maxim, for joining. And until next week, guys, be safe. Trade safe right now. Be very cautious of the toppy looking metrics that are forming. And we will catch up with another video. You'll see me on one in the next few days here. But thanks, everybody, for joining. And I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.